that online learning is more effective. We, the government team, believe that this statement is true. First, I will introduce myself and my speakers, and I will also give you the definition of the motion today. I, as the first speaker of the government team, will be strengthening our motive, and my second speaker will be rebutting the opposition team's speech and adding more points to strengthen our motive. And my third speaker will be summing up our team's case and refuting the arguments put forward by the negative team, as well as give conclusion for our case as a whole. Okay. So I believe that online learning is more effective because students, according to a study by IBM, students gain more knowledge than they do in traditional classes. Why? This is because they have the internet at their hands, and their sources are not limited when the internet is at hand. Also, I'm sorry, I'm a bit nervous. I'm sorry. Next, my point is there are more frequent evaluations throughout online classes, which can help decrease distractions of the students, and it is an advantage for students if the evaluations are spread out throughout the year, not just one full exam to evaluate your whole grade for the year. That is all from me. I rest my case.
Thank you for the speech. Now, please welcome the first speaker of the opposition, Amira, to open the gate for their time.
Kanan. Tak, sebab dia boleh cakap kat situ.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good evening to our honorable adjudicator, reliable timekeeper, our fellow opponents, and also member of the house. So the motion for today's debate is learning online is more effective. I as the first speaker really disagree with this statement. Before we start, I would like to introduce my team. My name is Amira, and I am the first speaker of this debate. Sorry. My second speaker, Sakina, she will strengthen our arguments by presenting her point to support our argument. And our third speaker, Adia Sulaika, she will rebut and sum up our points. Today, the first speaker of the affirmative team has tried to tell you that learning online can give students gain more knowledge. But I want to ask you something. Are you really sure that when students learn online, they really focus in class? Yes, they can gain more knowledge, but during the class, they can also surf other webs, other internet while learning. So I will be discussing about my point. Online learning. Okay, one of the disadvantages of online learning is that it can make students easily lose their focus. As there's no one to watch over them during the learning session. For the example, if we are at the school, we have teachers who will look out after us, if we are dozing off during the class. But imagine if you are at home and your parents are busy. So, are you sure? Can you really guarantee that there will be someone who will reach out for you if you are distracting during class? Additionally, online learning may be not a suitable method of studying for students in our age. Okay, a big question mark. Why? Well, in this modern era of technology, there are not only applications for study, but there are also countless applications for distracting, such as Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, etc. Therefore, I believe that online learning has more drawbacks than benefit to us. So, my views are nourishing that online learning is not effective at all for students. Yes?
I think I have experienced once that there is an actual app for you to focus on your class. How about that app? What is it? Why is it there? Is it just doing nothing, or it's just you who are not responsible for your own responsibility?
Well, thank you for the question. In my point of view, yes, out there are many apps we can use for study. But can you read? Sorry, please give us a minute. Okay, so to reply back on your question, what makes you think all the students feel the responsibility of study? Thank you.
I'd like to thank the speaker for the speech and welcome the second speaker of the proposition. Amina, to continue the case for the side.
Hey, good afternoon, Chairperson and illustrious audience. We, the government team, believe that online learning is more effective. It's true. Okay, sorry. Good afternoon for oppositions and audience. And the motion for today is online learning is more effective, and we, the government team, believe that the statement is true. And the first speaker of the opposition team has tried to tell you that having an online classes make the student may not be focused in class, but having an online classes have higher rate of retention, which is basically a longer memory time span, and it's not in a it's not like in a face-to-face classes where there's not a lot of graphical materials for the visual students and others. And research by the Institute of Americas shows that online learning increased the interest in increased interest in students by from 25% to 60%, and it is less time consuming commitment. You according to Brendan Hall Group, a person spent 40% to 60% less time in online learning. Majority of the e-learning give options that allows students to divide their courses time by any way that they see fit. And there's no need to spend a huge amount of time on the courses, because usually the courses take half an hour a day. And as the government have provided to us, like Didik TV and Delima, and from that you can see it is up to you. It is up to the student to spend time watching the programs and following it. And you can watch a whole K-drama for like a whole day, but you can't spend like an hour to watch educational programs. Come on. And online learning encourages students to learn independently, and the benefit from that is it improves students' self-discipline. how does it improve? How does it give the student self-discipline? Well, it is from parents' supervision. If you don't have parent supervision, you can always ask the teachers, and as what the first speaker stated, that sometimes the teacher doesn't know that you are missing out, but you can always set a date with the teachers so that the teacher can teach you personally, like a personal tuition or something, so that because if you go straight to the teacher can give can help you straightforward. And I will rest my case now.
I'd like to thank the speaker for the remarks and welcome the second speaker of the opposition, Sakina, to continue the debate for their side.
Anak aku.
The second affirmative speaker tried to tell us that online learning increase interest for students to learn. But we, the opposition team, truly believe that the statement is wrong because, in my personal point of view, I don't think that it is a valid statement as there are still students who just cannot lean back and listen to what the teacher say through the screen. Instead, prefer more physical class. Before I continue the argument for today's motion, good afternoon to the honourable adjudicator, my fellow opponents and member of the house. For today, I would like to elaborate my point, which is cheating prevention in assessment is complicated. Unfortunately, one of the biggest disadvantages of online learning is students continues to cheat in the exams through various methods.
We are talking about the effectiveness of online learning. I don't think there has anything to do with exams. I don't think it is relevant to bring up exams in this particular topic.
Give him a second. Regarding to your question, if they don't understand what they learn during online class, how do they answer the question during the exams? Okay, are you clear? Compared to on-campus students, online students, online students can cheat on the exams more easily because they are in their own environment and while using their personal computer. On the other hand, these students cannot be observed directly during the test without video feed. Additionally, without a proper identifier verification system in place, these students might be able to let third party to take the exams instead of themselves, resulting in a wholly fraudulent test result. Once again, I would like to reiterate that online learning is not effective and only worsens the educational system. Thank you.
I'd like to thank the speaker for the speech. We're now going to open the debate up to questions and comments from the floor. Please note that if you are directly affiliated with any speakers in this debate, you are unable to contribute to this particular law, but you may do so for other debates. Does anyone have a question that they'd like to ask? One or both of the teams.
Second speaker just now stated that some students couldn't hear what people say easily. I would like to state because they are stubborn. Some of the students are stubborn, correct? But don't they have other people around them, such as brothers or sisters or even friends that can actually ask them to become good and a better person?
We don't know, regarding your questions, we don't know if that someone is actually learning besides their brother, friends, or siblings and family. There are a few students that prefer personal spaces to study, to actually focus. So imagine if that one student using that said to their parents that they wanted a personal space to study, to focus more, but they use it as a light to actually using the laptop for other things to distract themselves from school. Thank you.
After those interesting questions, it's time to turn back to the teams for their final speakers. Starting first with the opposition, please welcome the opposition summary speaker, Ain.
I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon, adjudicator, fellow opponents, ladies and gentlemen. I am the third speaker of the government team and I will give some summarizations and rebuts. Okay, first of all, I would like to state that the big problem of online education is because our self-discipline. And we have been given a lot of excuses why students couldn't focus in online classes. Well, here we need to state about responsibility. As you as a parent, would you let your kids, would you let your children just do anything they want with their gadgets? No, if you are a responsible parent, you would always supervise your kids when they are learning, regarding if they're learning or they're doing something else. Yes.
I'm sorry, we're not talking about the parents' responsibility at the moment.
Sorry?
The topic is regarding about online learning, not the parent responsibility of their child studying. Thank you.
When you are stating if the student is not focused, and how the student is not focused because they are by themselves. When they are by themselves, they will become irresponsible and they need someone else to make sure that they are focused and they are responsible with their online classes. This here connects with responsibilities, ladies and gentlemen. When you are a parent and when you are a teacher, you are supposed to make your students focused and understand what you are trying to learn and what you are trying to say, what you are trying to teach. So that's why we need a very sufficient supervision with teachers and parents. Okay, you can say that teachers wouldn't know what are we trying to do during online classes because we can shut our mic and videos. But one teacher can say that please put on your camera, switch on your camera so that we can be focused and teacher can know what you are doing. You as a student, why can't you be responsible of yourself when you are trying to learn with your teacher? Can't you respect your teacher when your teacher says, please open your camera because your teacher wants to supervise you when the teacher is teaching? You yourself need to question yourself, why aren't you responsible? Second of all, I would like to recall back our theme, which is interesting and multiple medias that we can learn from online classes. Well, there are a lot of multiple materials that we can take from online. So when we are learning, and when you say we are sometimes distracted, we can find any initiatives to make learning fun. When you think learning is fun and it's more interesting, you will neglect those things that will distract you. And if you're talking about distractions, and there are a lot of distractions in online classes, I've been in a government office where they are not allowing any entertainment apps to access. So when you are accessing any entertainment apps such as YouTube or even Instagram, they are stuck. So you couldn't access any kind of apps. So by that, you can easily focus on your class and other medias, other materials that can make your learning fun and easy. And as we have stated, government have give you Didik TV, Delima, where they have multiple games and quizzes. Oh yes, I would like to state about exams. When we talk about exams, we talk about pressures because sometimes we need to study. But in online classes, we have quizzes. We have interesting games that includes memorization. So there is no problem when we are using online class. That is all from me. I will raise my case. Thank you.
I'd like to thank the speaker for that summary and welcome the last speaker for the proposition. Alia, to sum up for the team and the debate as a whole.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon to our honorable educator, my fellow opponents, reliable timekeeper, and members of the House. So the motion for our House today is online learning is more effective. We, the negative team, believe that this statement is ridiculously false. As the first affirmative speaker has stated that online learning led the students to gain knowledge to gain more knowledge in online classes. Arguably that is right. But gaining knowledge and applying those in their daily practice is two main different things. If they know new knowledges but they don't practice in their life, those knowledge will go down to the drain because yes, it is gained, but no, it is not useful and it's not being used. Yes.
My second speaker has clearly stated that a study shows that 40 to 60% pupils that are learning through online classes remember more of what they are learning. Did you not listen to what she was saying?
And listen to what she said, but understanding, gaining, practicing, remembering is four different things. If you remember a thing but you do not understand that thing, what's the point of remembering that thing? And how are you going to write it in your examination papers? That is not a valid statement. I'm sorry. I continue. As I was saying, the knowledge that they know will goes down to the drain, but not being used. Yes.
You say that anything that we've learned that will not be used. If you are stating this about online classes, I think it is the same as traditional traditional classes, face-to-face classes. If you just learn in any kind of way, if you just learn without interpreting, without understand what it is, it's the same about online classes and traditional classes, face-to-face classes. But I would like to state that in online classes we have YouTube, so that we can actually see how people experience that in real life. But how about traditional?
Thank you for the questions. So to answer your question is the difference between how we can apply those knowledge from our online classes or physical classes is that when we go to physical classes, we have teachers and friends and even seniors to actually guide us to practice those. By online learning, yes, you can refer to YouTube, but what makes you think by watching people do that thing, you can actually do that thing? Our first speaker has tried to tell you that online learning can make students easily lose their focus. This is undeniably a fact. What makes you stop thinking that students would stay faithful while in class and not opening other applications like Instagrams and stuff? This has proven in class that when the teachers are asking questions, it is a rare thing for students to actually raise their hands and answer the questions. And that is bluntly obvious that they do not focus in classes. Therefore, I emphasize again that online learning is not effective for all the students in our age. To sum up everything, I believe that this statement, which is online learning is more effective, is a ridiculously false, as it does, and it has given us the students lots of drawbacks for our studies. Therefore, I restate that the motion that online learning is not effective. Thank you.
Gimana?